If the weather forecasters are to be believed, and frankly that's a big if, the UK will be battered by high winds on Friday this week. Those winds will gust at up to 60 miles an hour inland and as high as 80 miles per hour in more exposed coastal areas. That means that as of the broadcast of this video, those in the heavy lifting business have about 2 days to stand down their mobile cranes and to weather vane their tower cranes, releasing the slew brake so the crane can rotate 360 degrees in the same direction the wind is blowing. Meanwhile, our cousins in the scaffolding sector have about 60 hours in which to make safe any scaffolding that might be vulnerable. Plenty of warning, you'd think. And yet I'm still expecting to report on a scaffold collapse somewhere in the UK before the week is out. Not because the coming storm will be worse than anything we've experienced before, but because the UK construction industry is notoriously poor at heeding warnings. And this extends way beyond remembering what happened the last time it got a bit breezy. It's symptomatic across the entire sector. The moment the industry emerges blinking into a post-recession sunshine, everybody trots out the phrase, "Fix the roof while the sun is shining." But do they? We know that each upturn is followed by a downturn, that every high is followed by a low, every peak begats a trough. And yet every downturn, every low, every trough takes the entire sector by surprise, every single time. Companies that were shouting about their new equipment fleet on social media just a few months ago are now in serious financial straits because they can no longer afford the finance. Companies that were welcoming new staff members in LinkedIn posts are quietly laying off staff and hoping that social media doesn't hear about it. And when the recession does hit, as it always does, those company bosses that splashed the cash on a Bentley when times were good are left to lick their wounds, even as they're telling staff that the financial cupboard is bare. But this isn't hard. This isn't quantum mechanics. If times are good, enjoy it by all means. But know that it will not and cannot last. It never does. All the signs suggest that we're about to enter a period of recession and austerity, although quite how we'll tell the difference, I'm not entirely sure. And that's bad, obviously. We've already seen way too many companies collapse and too many men and women left unemployed. But if there is a positive to be taken from yet more economic hardship, it's this. A downturn will give us all time to take stock, to reflect and to plan. We can batten down the hatches and prepare for when the good times finally roll back around, strip back the unnecessary and focus on the essential. It's an opportunity to mend and to heal, to refocus and to reset. But will we? Personally, I'm not hopeful. The industry was afforded precisely the same opportunity in 2020 when the world stopped for COVID. And that opportunity was squandered. The moment the lockdown ended, we reverted to our usual peak and trough mentality. My guess is we'll do the same again. So whether it's the high winds this week or the economic storm front following on behind, we're about to get a buffering. Will we heed the amber warnings? I doubt it. Will we make it through the coming storm? Who knows? But nobody can say they weren't warned.